You can start.
All right. Hi, this is Mike Lichtman. I'm president founder and the CEO of Mike's International. So today I have a privilege to talk about the superheroes. So I'm sure, like I'm really talking to the superheroes. You're already superheroes. You've already been putting dents on the globe because today, it's going to be an amazing talk. And if you have not yet joined, so join right now. Why? Because you are just one decision away from a totally different talk and from a totally different life. So I'm feeling pretty honored and proud and thrilled. Why? Because I'm just going to talk on IIU. It's an international internship university. Okay, so this university has been initiated by the Piyush Pandit. It's the greatest resounding success soulmate like it's been in there. So he's been really putting dents on this part of globe and even all. So he's really putting a lot of impact on everywhere. So what he took initiative to start up this IIU with it's a women entrepreneurship council, like where I'm just giving this talk. So the real purpose behind the Piyush Pandit is like he is empowering the women, especially he feels, because women are more than 50% of the globe. All right, so they already constitute like more than 50%. All right, so they deserve like to the access, okay, and to right to the education. They deserve like the equal level health, okay, and they must have a privilege, to earn finances. They must have economic security, and along with like they just need to achieve all their financial numbers. All right. So, and most importantly, why? Because in today's world, we are combating a lot of issues on empowerment. So he's talking about like it's a platform where we can empower the women, especially they need to be enfranchised, especially in politics. So this is a great initiative. Why? Because he's bringing women into the entrepreneurship, and like he is inviting every woman on this particular part uh, platform, like where people from industry, especially if I'm talking about women from industry, service, okay, and manufacturing, the pharmaceutical, and all kind of service, even the sports women, okay, they must participate. They must play their pivotal role by joining on this amazing platform. And I'm pretty sure like it's gonna bring empowerment, okay, and it's gonna help them like to bring their inner wisdom and insightfulness like through this platform. And most importantly, the women, they can help more women because our today's talk is purely about women. And if you are good at women and you're not just doing, so don't wait. Just join us like on this amazing talk show. And I want to pay thank you to Ermina. You are amazing soulmate because you are bringing a lot of wisdom, insightfulness, and perspicuousness, and you are bringing conscience, and conscientiousness you are bringing into this platform. So I'm feeling privileged and honor on this amazing platform. So I would love to share a couple of stories, but I want to tell you today because your today's takeaway is going to be the world-class takeaway. The reason why, because I'm going to talk about the three most important people, like they've been the top women in the world. Yeah, I'm going to talk about Marie Curie and Dr. Ruth Powell, and the third most important, Angela Merkel's. Like the one greatest thing about the lady is that they are from Germanic tribes. They have the vibes from the Germany. And they are the amazing stories. But I will get started from because you can't play safe. You can't please God by playing it safe. So a lot of people, they are not taking risks. The reason why, because they want to play safe. So I have a message for you. You can't please God by playing it safe. Once upon a time, there was an amazing guy. It's a French-American story. So the guy, Philippe Petit, he traveled to United States, but there was a motivation because he had a big mission. He was a great wire walker and he wanted to walk on the wire. but the dream was to walk on the World Trade Center, two great buildings. Wow, amazing, amazing dream. So by sneakingly, like he went into United States, it was um, a great risk. So when he came up there, so he built up a team. And after building up a team, he went one night, it took a time. It was so hard. It was so difficult because there was no, it was, quite hard, like to go on, really onto the 110th floor. Wow. So when he walked over there, so I just want to say something really great. That's $1 billion sentence when he was walking on the wire out there. So he was arrested by end of the day, and one cop asked him, "Hey, what would happen if you could be falling down?" So he thought the $1 billion sentence. Like he said, "Wow, what a beautiful death it would be." So the greatest thing is the message is your success is beyond your fears, beyond uh, the boundaries of fears, right? So you got to do something about. So it was an amazing sentence, and it really could help me to grow in my life. All right. So one more thing I want to talk about. The Jack Ma is an amazing guy, and he has created a great company, Alibaba.com. And the greatest news is like he has more than 50% women in that company. All right. And the reason why, because he is bringing more LQ into the business, because we are mostly relying once you are in corporate. So we believe in emotional intelligence, or we believe in intelligent quotient. But there is something amazing. That's a love quotient. So he is bringing more and more women in his girl. And he's believing, right? Because the women can play a much better role, can play a pivotal role because they have something special in their heart. They're so caring, loving, and they have integrity, all right? And they gotta take more care than men in any company. Well, so uh, because I have been told that you have just 45 minutes, so within no time, like I want to share a couple of laws, and then I will talk about those three great people. So remember, there is one law, and we mostly talk about, in my motivational talk, or even I talking to like the corporate people. So there's one law. The greatest law is the law of solipsism. All right, it's a very unique law, and this law says that you are most valuable and a most important person in the world. Like you see the sun, it comes every day and it's playing its role, it's giving you a sunshine, all right? So like you are the most valuable person in the world. So you need to know your importance. And once you feel like I'm the most important person, the philosophy is you start playing an amazing role for the world, right? Because if you feel like I'm important, all right, and I can do what nobody can do, and I'm the most incredible, and I can play a terrific role in the people's life. So then you start feeling a responsibility. All right, in perspective of solipsism, I've been like speaking up to the people. All right, how may I help you? It's the most powerful line in the world. Like, how may I help you? How may I help you mean like you feel like I'm the most incredible and the most gigantic, most powerful and the most amazing person in the world because you know your importance and you know you can play an important role in other people's life. So the laws, according to this law, you must activate this law in your life. You must feel like you're the most important person and you can do something what nobody can do on this globe. So the most powerful line, whenever you talk to the people, always start your talk, how may I help you? How may I help you? And I'm telling you, like seriously, this particular line will make you the bazillionaire. It will empower you a lot, and you even can empower the people by offering your help. It doesn't mean like you are equipped with a lot of resources. No, it doesn't matter. Even if you don't have, right? If you are even zero resources, right? But you offer other people, and you claim it, and you feel it like, and you share this feeling with other people. Like, how can I help you? All right, because you feel I'm most powerful, and I'm telling you the formula. This is a very selfish attitude. If you're going to say people, hey, how may I help you? People will come and they're going to help you. So when more law because setting goal is the biggest issue with the people. So there's one beautiful law, and according to this law, this is a law of living considerably. According to this law, what you need to do is why? Because we all are here together, right? Even we are I'm giving my talk on IIU on the Women Entrepreneurship Council. Whatever I'm doing, I'm selling my voice, I'm selling my message. I want to impact more and more people in my life. Why? I'm doing it for my business, right? I'm entrepreneur. Okay. So according to this law, it's quite easy to set your goals. How can you set your goals? Because whatever you're doing in your life, you're not doing it for yourself. You are doing it for your family members, right? Because they are your intimate relation, and you are putting all your sense into the work. Why? Because you want to see them happy, you want to help them. So I want to tell you one greatest idea, like how can you set your goals, and it's gonna be so easy for you, like, and to execute everything in your life. So what you can do is you need to investigate with all your family members, what do they want from you? All right, because everything gonna happen from you. So you need to have a conversation with all your family members. I'm assuming like you have two brothers and three sisters. So you need to have corner meetings with them. Individually, you need to ask them, how can I help you and what I can do for you? And try to know, put all your sense to know like what your family members are looking forward from you. Because by end of the day, you gotta help them, you gotta create a big empire and you gotta create a massive success. All right. So you're gonna ask like everyone individually in a corner meetings. Don't let other people know, right? So you need to know personally, and you need to go some private meetings and write down their goals and what do they want from you on the pages. All right. So if you're gonna see like five people in your family, including your better half of, all right, and how many people you have in your family. So you gotta investigate, you gotta inquire each and everyone and write up all their goals on the separate pages. And by end of the day, you need to write your own goals and what do you want from yourself. So then, like you would have maybe 7 or 8 pages, and then you need to match, you need to make ticks on the pages and try to consolidate, pick up the goals from all the pages, the unanimous goals, and then write it up on a separate page. And that would be your goal, that would be your mission in your life, what you can achieve in your life. So one more thing I need to tell you, this is an important law because this law can help you to understand our today's master. That is a law of control. Law of control means you need to have a locus of control on your life. Like if you're not talking about the corporates, you don't need to accept salaries. I believe in accepting checks. Why? Because I believe in missions. I'm having kind of like, I have a control on my life. I'm entrepreneur, so I have designed my activities and I'm getting my income, assuming like if I have 5 business, so I have a control in my life, right? So I'm not waiting for the salaries. I'm not waiting by end of the month. So you need to have control, not just your financial numbers. You can have control on your relationship. And it only can happen in your life once you can influence people. Like by setting your goal, you can have control on your relationship and you can seriously pay a lot of sense and you really can get out of it. And you would see like, you will be so successful in your relationship. So in all domains of your life, you need to have control over you. All right. And it only can happen once you resonate and when you attract a positive energy in your life. Well, so a couple of things I would share, and then we're going to talk about our most important 3 big personalities, all right, because it would be more easy to understand it. So I would share a couple of things. So number one is don't settle down anything in your life, all right? Don't compromise. Once upon a time, there was a guy, he was unable to speak English, but he decided like to go into the United States. He wanted to have some brand management. He wanted to set up some business there, but he was unable to speak English. And once he got there, so he hired an interpreter. Interpreter told him better you learn English. Why? Because you're going to stay up here, so you have to go for the meeting, you have to order your food, so you need English everywhere in your life. And he talked to the interpreter, all right, I get to speak English, but please tell me just 3 words because I can't speak wrong English. I don't want people listen. I don't want people to listen wrong English. He he never wanted to speak incorrect English in front of people because he had fear. He never wanted to be listened wrong because, and that's why, like, he just the interpreter told him 3 words, and he started to practice 3 words: hamburger, French fries, and Coke. Hamburger, French fries, and Coke. Hamburger, French fries, and Coke. And very next day, when he was in the restaurant and he offered, the lady waitress came in and asked, "Hey, how may I help you? Like, what would you like in breakfast?" And he said, "Hamburger, French fries, and Coke." In lunch, he was ordering the same. He was ordering the same, and in lunch he was ordering the same. In dinner, he was ordering the same, and he was ordering the same for months. My goodness. And by end of the day, like, he got pain in his stomach and he came back to the interpreter and told him, "Hey, I messed up my stomach. So please tell me something different because I don't want to eat any more hamburger, French fries." And the interpreter told him, "All right, no problem. I can tell you more words." But he said, "Okay, remember, I don't want to speak incorrect or wrong English in front of people. So you gotta please tell me something great and accurate." All right, I would learn 3 more words and said, "Okay, so now you can order 3 more egg toast, okay, and juice." He crammed 3 words: egg, toast, and juice, egg, toast, and juice. And very next day, when he was at a restaurant and the guy, the lady works came and, hey, how may I help you? Like, what would you like in breakfast? This is a hamburger. I need egg. She said, "Okay, we have different type of eggs. So what kind of egg you would like to eat?" We said, we have different types. We have omelette, we have French, all right, and we have different type of eggs, all right, Spanish, different. So what kind of egg you would like? He said, "No, no, no, no," because now people were looking at him and he was not ready to speak wrong English. He changed his order and he said, "No, no, no, I need toast." And she said, "All right, we have a different type of toast. So what kind of toast you would like to eat?" And he said, "No, no, 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 I don't like toast. I need juice." She said, "Okay, we have different type of juices. We have tomato shakes and pineapple. So what kind of juice you would like to drink?" He said, "No, no, 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 hamburger, French fries, and Coke." So he was settling down just on the fear. All right. So you never gonna settle down in your life. All right. So do what you really, 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 really love to do. But remember, it must be most important because a lot of people, they are doing something what they feel like it's very important. And I love to do it, but it's also doing this. But at the same time, you need to understand first, like, how much impact you can have by doing all this. So stop settling. All right. And the next thing is about because it's all about our today's topic is take full responsibility of your life. A couple of months ago, I had a talk with 5,000 girls, like I could give my talk to them on entrepreneurship and 3 top universities, like their students came in over there. Unfortunately, they all were women. I love to talk to women, especially in entrepreneurship, because I feel they're vulnerable and they must play their pivotal role. They must play their part. They must participate, and they must take a responsibility of their life. They never need to rely on their brother and sisters and father. And by the end of their life, the person they get married. So don't rely on anybody. All right. So you are responsible to take full responsibility of your own life. And one more stuff is very important, like you need to know before going into a topic that you need to know what's your diet plan, because there are 2 type of diets: your mental diet and your physical diet. People are investing a lot of money and they are doing a lot of things and they are giving a lot to their body, okay, and they are investing on their physical intakes. But what time, how many hours in a day, and how many books you are reading in a day? What are you giving to your mental diet? What are you doing for your mental diet? What are your food parts? Most of the time, we are growing up and we are growing up with a bad knowledge. And it only happens because of the people we are surrounded with. Because by the end of the day, you become average of the 5 people you're surrounded with. So you need to investigate and make analysis how many people and what kind of people like you are surrounded with. because by the end of the day, you're going to be the same. If you're going to sit up with the 9 losers, I have a bad news for you, because then you're going to be the 10th one after 7 days or 10 days. So better, you need to attract great people in your life, and you need to resonate and vibrate. Okay, and you need to attract very positive people in your life. It only can happen. What kind of uh, what's your vibration, all right? Um, or what you are really building up yourself. So I've got to make sure like you could attract the same kind of people. Well, there are so many things we can talk about. And now let's move on to, and before this, one more thing you need to do is to to understand, which I feel like is most important for you. That is, you need to know like what is the real purpose of your life. I want to tell you, like I know everyone's purpose of life. The reason why, because this is the universal purpose of your life. Okay, so wherever you're born, whoever you are, all right, and whatever you have in, so it's quite understood. All right, this is a purpose. This is your birth purpose. The purpose you have this like by your birth. All right. So the purpose is because you're born in this on this on this globe, and you are getting so many things for granted. You are getting free oxygen. All right. You're getting fresh water. All right. And so many things like you are not paying for. All right. So don't take this for granted. All right. You are born to pay it for. Like harassment, he said, you must feel ashamed. You must feel ashamed to die before a major social contribution to this world. You are born to work, even you're getting money or not, but you are born to work 24 hours. Like you see, the nature is always operational. Okay, sun is setting at the right time, and is rising up at the right time. You see, the nature is working, wind is blowing, everything is moving in this world. So by birth, with your birth, you got this goal in your life. You got this purpose that you gotta work. You gotta make this world a conducive place for your next generation. You are energy. Your energy is contagious, all right, and you are continuity of your someone, all right. So you are continuity. So you gotta do something out of the box. You are born to do something significant for this world. And this is a real purpose. And I want to tell you, like, if you will bring this selflessness into your life, if you're going to do something out of the box and you are doing it without any motivation, if you are doing it for no zero consideration, I want to tell you, like, you're going to be the Nobel Prize person in the world. And this is what the real cause of our birth on this planet. All right. So once upon a time, uh, there was a young girl. She was just 19, all right, and she was putting on the Lanchester, all right, and lousy dresses, and she was living in a house which was really was not properly paved and constructed. It was almost demolished house, and she was living in one room. Why? Because she was helping herself like to study more and more in her life, and whenever like because she born in Poland, and it's the most frozen part of the globe. It's always a blizzard, all right. So and she was used to have books around her, and she had no money for buying a coal and to make her room warm. So she was relying on the books. She had no even the great blankets or the clothes. So she was hiding herself under the books, under the table, all right. It was her life, and she got an opportunity. She was doing some kind of small works, all right, and she was getting some money to continue her education. And she was teaching to one knight's daughter, all right, and she was so young. And she was teaching her, she was getting money, and it was only her source of income. And in the meanwhile, that young daughter's brother like came up in house, and he was a university student in France, and he was so inspired because this girl was so sharp as a tack in mathematics, okay, and She was great in chemistry and other subjects, and she was really great in dancing. So he fall in love with her. Happy Valentine's Day. So it's a great story. So what happened? She was uh, he fall in love with her, and she responded so positively, and they both were playing here and there. They were having a lot of fun, and one day he proposed her, and when mother of that girl could know, like, my son has proposed that girl, she was so annoyed, and she rejected. It was a panicking situation um, at her home. The reason why, because she had a belief. My son is a son of knight, and he's studying in the top university in France. And on the other side, look at this girl. She is putting on the very lousy gesture, and like it was even she had no bath for last so many days. Even she had no money like to buy a blanket or the coat. She had no money even like to manage herself, like, and she just relying on her money. So how can I allow her like to get married with my son? So she invited everyone from the village. Okay, so all people like came at her house, and she asked the people, "Please, I want to ask you one question. Do you believe my son should get married with this girl?" So everyone said no. Everyone rejected that girl. Everyone say like, this girl don't deserve. She doesn't deserve like to get married with your son. All right, so she was so dejected, rejected, frustrated, and she decided, and she was uh, pissed off, and she was really kicked out from that house. And she, at that day, she decided that I would never fall in love, and she decided I would become someone nobody can become. And at that day, she decided to revenge herself by studying more. And from that day, she started to learn more and more. She was giving all her sense life to the studies. She was studying more and more. And by the day, like, she got a scholarship, and she had an opportunity like to go to the France, and already her sister was there. So when she went there, she had a deal with her sister, because you got to pay money for my expenses, you got to pay money for my studies. So after my studies, I got to pay you money back. So it was a deal between two sisters. So she was the only girl like who was studying there in a big classroom, and she was the only girl. So here I need to tell you that girl has been studying under the secret university, because in Europe in that moment, because it was just newly independent from the Poland, and her father was also, being punished by the Polish people, by the Germans, because they got independence from there. So he was penalized, and he lost his job. He was a teacher. Well, she had a very tough time. That's why, like, she was working here and there. When she was at the place, when she was at university, she one day she was sitting in a classroom, and she got unconscious within no time, and everyone took a notice like what happened. And when she was brought to the hospital, and the doctor recommended, like, because she's so hungry, and I think like she had not eaten anything from last so many days, so please give her one glass of milk. So look at the stubbornness. And she came into the consciousness again, and she started to work, and she again started like, and over there, like, she stood first, and uh she was giving all her sense in at university in France. He got his soulmate. His name was Pierre Curie. All right. Sometimes people say Harry Curie or the Pierre Curie. He was a professor. And when this girl completed her education, and she decided, okay, I need to go back to the Poland, because she was in love with the Polish people and the Poland, because along with her family, like, they already have sacrificed a lot for the country. So she had a lot of pain. She always wanted to help the Polish people. She wanted to go back. And while she was coming back after completion of her education, so Pierre proposed her. It was a very good, amazing sentence I can remember from the story, when he said, "I'm in love with you. I love you," and she said, Perry, it looks very unscientific. Yeah, because she was a scientific mind. She always wanted to do something bigger. She always wanted to do something out of the box. So in that moment, in the meanwhile, while she was completing education, she already joined Perry Curie, all right, and she was doing all the experiments there. So Perry Curie, like he was totally understood, like this girl is not just a beautiful, just not a prettiest girl. She is the most talented girl ever. And because he was 35 and he never been in love and he never thought about like to get into love or to get married. All right. And at this particular moment, Mary Curie, yes, her name is Mary Curie. So she was also not interested to fall in love or like to get married or to stay anymore like in France because it was not her place. She wanted to go back uh, in Poland. So uh, it's the nature was looking at her life because something greatest was coming up in her life. So Perry proposed her and they got married. And I think it's the world's the best couple because they were the real soulmate. Because when Perry uh, uh, proposed her, so there was no kind of punchline where he talked about falling in love or something. He was just talking to her. We are soulmate, and I knew you wanted to become the great scientist. I at the same time, likewise, I wanted to become the great scientist. So it's a great reason like to stay together. All right, we can stay together. I want to build up much better that laboratory where we can work together. And I'm pretty sure with our work with the joint venture, I know you are a scientific mind. You can't fall in love and you won't be thinking like to getting married. But I make sure that with this particular joint venture, with this particular knot, we can get something out. That's why I say the love has its own wings. Okay, so I believe in like to get married with a soulmate. Um, 7 months ago, I lost my soulmate. My wife died, so we had a great time together. So like, yes, let's talk about the Marie Curie. Sometime his father was used to call him Mania. All right, Mania. Her full name was the Maria Salome Skłodowska Curie. Like, it's a very long name. It happens in the Polish culture. Well, they got married and they had a great fun and they started to work in a laboratory. In that laboratory, they could create something out of the box and they were crystallizing and uncrystallizing to create something for the cancer. And in that particular time, they could create something out of the box. They could get the power, by burning the 10 months iron. They burned iron like in that winter season, and now they were burning that like in the summer season. So they also like started to have some issues in with their lungs as well. But in that moment, they could get iridium, all right, by burning a lot of iron. They could get a very small quantity. If you burn like 10 months iron, so you can get a very small quantity of this much quantity, like a small stone of iridium, all right? And now the next challenge was like to separate that iridium from one more, it was polonium. So they separated, and the first Nobel Prize, they both shared along with one more scientist, they could get the first Nobel Prize, and she became the first lady in science, in chemistry, could get the first Nobel Prize, which she shared with the Perry Curie and one more scientist. It was the greatest time, I believe in. You're going to be, the people would be so lucky, they're born in that particular frame of time. So the Marie Curie, afterwards, I had some tough time because the Perry died. And just before death, Mary, he had a very special talk with the Perry, and she really thanked. She paid a lot of thanks to uh, the Perry Curie because he could play a pivotal role. He could play um, an enormous role in her life because at that moment, when she was going back to the Poland and the Perry, he stopped her, and Mary confessed and told Perry, Perry, you are the greatest person ever I met, or even I had no imagination that such person will come into my life and will play an amazing role. And I'm in love with you. And that was amazing time. And after a couple of days, because of some accident happened in the street and a Perry died. It was the toughest moment in Mania, in the Mary Salomis um, Skorowiska Curie time. It was unimaginable. And his her great teacher, he was a great scientist and professor as well. He encouraged and asked like to continue all the efforts like we could do all the time. So then she started to work more, and in the meanwhile, they had two more daughters. And the greatest news is the second Nobel Prize she could get after the first one she could get in physics. Okay, physics and chemistry. All right, she could get two Nobel Prizes, and she's only the lady on the globe. She could get thousands and hundreds of honor degrees, like the universities honored her with the degrees, and she could get thousands of prizes. And she was so popular in France because now France was her country because now she was living out there. And the greatest thing happened when she was getting the Nobel Prize, the first Nobel Prize, because the first iridium, like she could get iridium. With that iridium, there's a very powerful resins. With those resins, you can really diagnose the cancer. So from that day to day, we have fixed cancer because of that greatest lady, Marie Curie. And when the corporate people they came up and they offered the charts, they offered, all right, if you want to sell this great idea, so we are ready to buy this idea. So what would you like to charge for it? And she said, no, I won't charge for my this greatest achievement because I believe in that whatever you're doing, it's for humanity. And I personally feel like she is one of the greatest lady in the world. And she had a life of based on selflessness, all right? And what she advised at that moment, she said, I want to give my this formula to the company who's gonna help one lady in Warsaw, and she is in Poland. She is suffering from the cancer. If one of the company like can go and really fix or diagnose that lady cancer, do you know who was that lady? Yes, she was the same lady who kicked her out of her village, and she denied, and she never allowed her son like to get married with Mary. And the question is why she wanted to pay that gratitude to that girl. There can be a lot of opinion, so there was no revenge. Actually, she wanted to pay thank you to that lady because if she would have allowed to get married with that man, the man from the France who was studying in France. And she thought if I would have been married, if that woman has allowed me like to get married with her son, so then I would be maybe an average lady. Maybe I would have 4 or 5 sons or daughters. I would have family, and maybe I would be busy in the house chores. I would be busy in making errands, and I would be an ordinary woman. So that woman, because that was the greatest event happened in her life because she never allowed her to get married with her sons. That's why like she could came and with that setback, okay, she could think about to become the great scientist and she could invent something out of the box and it never could happen in history. And she's the only lady in the world like she could get 2 Nobel Prizes. Overall, 5 Nobel Prizes went into that family. I don't know what kind of special genes and the DNA she has. And she's been doing a lot like in the First World War and overall like for the people. And she's been the great philanthropist. She's been the greatest social entrepreneur. She was a great lady having the highest level of empathy. So Mary was so successful in her life. So I want to tell you what could make her so successful. Number one, her stubbornness. She was so stubborn. Even it was so hard for Perry to propose her. Why? Because she was not agree. She was not having any kind of feeling for love or anything. She thought like I never want to be controlled by any kind of feeling like this. So I want to ask you, if you're a girl, if you're a woman and I'm watching this podcast, this talk show, I just want to ask you what you're doing in your life, what you're doing in your life, and what are you becoming in your life, and what are you doing to become what you want to become in your life. All right, what much better efforts you are bringing into your life to become that person you want to become in your life. And if you are a woman, I want to tell you, start living with the cause, because the cause and the big mission. And you never need to dream about yourself. You need to dream about the people. Remember, dreams are never personal. You can't dream about your life. You can't dream about your personal luxuries. All right. Don't stop working on your financial numbers. Stop working on your professional, like these kind of goals. If you have a mission, if you have a vision to help humanity, if you have a selflessness into your heart and into your body, and you are living, the amazing life, I want to tell you, you're going to be the world's most successful person in the world if you want to help humanity, because you're born to help people. All right, and help always comes back to you. All right, always ask people, how may I help you? How can I help you? It doesn't matter what you have. It doesn't matter wherever you are. It doesn't matter what the degree do you have. Always dream about other people's success. I want to tell you, success is never personal, because dreams are not personal. Even your responsibility is not personal, because you're not responsible just for you and your family. You are responsible for everybody around you. You are responsible for the globe. And level of your responsibility will determine that who you are, will determine, it's going to help you to determine that what your life is. All right, it will determine level of your success. So we are so lucky. We have Marie Curie in our life. We could have Marie Curie. She is a very powerful lady in the world, and still, like, if you go to Google and you see Maria Salomia Skłodowska, maybe I have some little pronunciation issues. Amazingly, she had the greatest achievements in her life. So my next story is, before I start my next story, I want to tell you something. Uh, she had a great habits. She never spent time in the kitchen, because she had a feeling, if I would spend more time in kitchen, it means I'm gonna waste my time. So she is the world's greatest lady. Why? Because she could save a lot of time. And after Mary, the one more guy we have, Elon Musk, like, they are the best time managers in their lives. They are not just time managers, all right, because you can't manage your time. You actually gotta manage your thoughts. You gotta manage your life. So manage your thoughts, all right? You gotta manage your life, all right? So you don't need to manage your time. You gotta manage yourself. You gotta be most effective, and you gotta be most effective as well, like what you're doing. And you see, she was living in a very not very costly building or house. She's been eating a very less amount of food. She was living just on one bread for a month, and she's been using like that dried loaves. She was living just on one bread in a month. Why? Because she had a feeling, I don't want to waste my time just on cooking and just on eating and doing all these things. And she could have no very special kind of hairstyle, or she had no very special kind of attire. She was so simple, and even she had just one chester, and she had no so many suitings in her life. And she had great working habits. And although I told you, he is a great husband, Mary Curie, Perry Curie, who can play a very pivotal role. When she was asked, like, why don't you eat? Why don't you go to the kitchen? She said, I don't waste my time. But my time is so much valuable. I just have to save my time. And I want to spend all my time on my education, on my studies. That's why, like, she could get a couple of Nobel Prizes. And because of her gene-like family, overall, like, could get 5 Nobel Prizes. Well, once upon a time, I'm moving to my next story. Its story happened in 1950s. By late 1950s, a lady was traveling from Germany. All right. But before this, I need to tell you, when she was so young, she made 3 most important decisions. Decision number 1, I will never get married. All right. Decision number 2, I'll become a doctor. Decision number 3, I'll help the humanity. I'll help the poor people. Look at the conviction. She was just 11 and she made these 3 decisions. Now, because long story short, we have a short time and we have to summarize and we have to conclude the story. So in late 1950s, now she was a doctor and from she was traveling from Germany to India because there was a plague. But in the meanwhile, like she had some connection flight, and she came into, she stayed for a couple of nights in Karachi, and out there she noticed that the people, they are suffering from a different kind of disease. It was a leprosy disease, and people were really are dying, and they were really on the McLeod Road in Karachi. They were really onto the roads, and parents, they were throwing their kids, and kids, they were throwing their parents, and parents, they were throwing their parents, and people were throwing up out there, like onto the roads, to their loved ones and to their family members. The reason why it's a very contagious disease, leprosy disease, you start losing your limbs. So she had, I was watching her interview, and she said, I had no ability, even I couldn't create that courage to see people like going through that kind of suffering or disease. So at that day, I decided that I would help people. I want to stay here in Karachi. All right. It took 1 year to convince the people, because people were not ready to be diagnosed. They had a feeling, if I were, because we are tormented by the God. It's a punishment of the God. And you know what's the philosophy? Once you feel like you are punished by the God, it means you are not ready to fix it, and you embrace it, you accept it, and you start living with the disease. But it took 1 year, like, to convince the people, and she helped 65,000 people. She helped 65,000 people in Pakistan. In late 1980s, she could help Pakistan people and make this country the leprosy-free country. I want to tell you a couple of facts about her. She always been living just on one small bread and one boiled potato, or sometime, the cup of yogurt. It was her diet for 24 hours. She's been traveling on the public transport. She never had any kind of private conveyance. She's been helping for more than 50 years in Pakistan, and she's been treated like a Mother Teresa. All right, she was a mother for Pakistan people. She could help a lot of people out there, and she was very simple in her food. And whenever someone, when an interviewer asked her, like, why do you eat just very simple foods? It's, not very costly. You can afford, you can eat a lot of foods. You can order for the pizza or something. She said, no, I would love to eat the food of the low class person, the labor class person. I feel ashamed of myself when I eat more than them. So she was an amazing lady, and she had just a couple of suits. Okay, this is a called shalwar kameez, like trouser and shirt. One trouser and shirt she was putting it on, and the second one she was washing. She never ironed her clothes. Amazing, amazing, and the simple lady she had, I think, would be declared and I feel like she is one of the greatest lady in the world. And she had a lot of people, and she had a great message for the humanity. Even with zero resources, you can help people. Even like when she started to help the people, and she asked, like, how many doctors we have in a country. So the government told her, like, we don't have a doctor. Though there were 14 doctors, and they denied to work for and to work with the people with the leprosy because it's contagious. And Nobody was ready to take risk. And you know, the worst news is the people were throwing, the people, designed the columns out of Karachi and other part of the globe of this country. All right, they designed the colonies. All right, and the people were throwing like people out there in the cottages, and they were closing the door and they were throwing the foods from the walls. And the people, like the effect is they were supposed to eat the food full of mud or something. So the people were dying out there. And that moment, that lady, stayed there and she's been treated really at the top. So the last story is about Angela Merkel, the greatest prime minister of Germany. She was a chancellor. She had a PhD, and she decided, no, I won't work in a laboratory. Better, I need to work in politics, and I can help people in much better way. So the greatest story, the greatest facts about her, she was used to wash her clothes herself. All right, she was used to, along with her husband. All right, he was a professor. All right, and they both were working together. They never hired anybody. They have no any kind of janitorial staff or the support people in her home. She stayed for 15 years as a prime minister, and she's been just using the vice chancellor car for going to the office. And she's been cooking herself, she's been washing herself. And look at her, like, about the relationship, because she was used to wash clothes at night, and because at night the electricity was very cheaper. So she had one fear, like maybe people in my neighbors, they would have some disturbance. So she started to talk with the people and got permission from other people, from the neighbors, like, because when I turn on the machine like at night, so don't you feel bad? So they said, okay, you can use it. And she, she's been doing really amazing, and she has done a lot, as a very simple human being, and she's been just spending 5 years on her. So then she was the Asian lady, and she's been for last 9 years, she's on always #1 in the Forbes magazine. She is the most powerful lady in the world, and she has a great working habits. She has a great working habits because she was used to work just for for 20 hours, and she was available to her staff for all the time, when even like she's having a call like at night, so she was used to accept the call. So she's been the amazing lady. She always had a one hairstyle. She has a one necklace. She had a couple of trousers and three uppers. She's been putting it on, very simple. And the pension she could get after retirement, with that money, she even couldn't buy that a new house. And she's still living in a rented house. And amazing, amazing lady. So thank you very much. Ramina, you are over there, and I think I'm maintain. I have tried to manage my talk within the limited time. So thank you very much, everybody. Keep dreaming big. Hello.